So I made a video in which I basically declared war on Brick Brony, and that couldn't be more outdated right now, after just a couple of days, because apparently he's already at war with For No Good Reason, who actually recently contacted me, even though I also contacted Brick Brony, and also contacted British Ninja, because I really liked his videos, as I did with For No Good Reason. But now it turns out that both of them greatly dislike Brick Brony, but he also has other enemies, and it also turns out that Jerry Pete had been criticizing Mysterious Enter, even though Mysterious Enter did work together with Josh, and also really like Josh, and I like Mysterious Enter. However, Josh does work together with Jerry Pete, and I also like Jerry Pete, even though, it's been a little bit complicated lately, and when I say lately, I mean ever since the Brony fandom started, or since the internet started, or since fandom started, period, or since people had fights with friends of their friends of their friends who were enemies of their friends of their girlfriends. In other words, everything is freaking complicated. It's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End all over again. But so the point that I'm trying to make is that I'm once again wasting your time because I don't really know what to say, and I'm making this up as I go along because I just wanted to record something, because I'm completely and utterly bored, because I have no life, no girlfriend or anything whatsoever, and I'm really just doing this to maintain my sanity, because the few people actually commenting on my videos give me a reason not to stab myself multiple times in the back before jumping off a bridge, or putting myself in an oil jar and then filling it with cement. So, I really have got no idea what I'm doing here. And I don't mean in this video, I mean in my life. I've got no idea what I'm doing with my life, or with anything, or with the world. So let's talk about something interesting. Cutie marks, the concept that has been thoroughly milked throughout MLP. Cutie marks have been a very contested thing, and that a lot of fans feel as though the definition keeps changing, and a lot of fans think that the lore isn't kept consistent. So I wanted to try and analyze and see whether there are really inconsistencies in how cutie marks are portrayed per episode, or whether it's just a more complex, nuanced issue than a lot of fans are saying. So once again, I'm just being pretentious and not acknowledging that the show has various different writers, because I'm an ultra fanboy. So I wanted to start off going back, obviously, all the way to Call of the Cutie. There we found out that Shirley actually woke up with her cutie mark, and this is very interesting because in that episode they say that you get a cutie mark when you find out what makes you special or what your purpose in life is, and that's already interesting. Is a cutie mark something that defines what makes you unique or what your goal in life is? If multiple ponies have similar goals, they also have similar cutie marks? Because the Apple family has a lot of very similar cutie marks, although there are differences. So is it first and foremost about finding yourself, or is it about uniqueness? That's already something interesting to ponder. Maybe it could be both. Maybe it's more uniqueness with one pony and more your goal in life with another pony. But so it also raises some other very interesting points, because if Shirley woke up with her cutie mark, that means that she basically realized what her goal in life was after she got a cutie mark. Or did she? She could have subconsciously realized what her goal in life was, and she consciously realized it when she got her cutie mark. That seems to make sense, because Pinkie Pie also got her party cutie mark, and then realized that she wanted to make parties for the rest of her life. She really enjoyed the party that she threw for her family, but it didn't mean that she at that point already realized, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. A cutie mark actually helps you realize that you have found your goal. So it's possible that you subconsciously realize something, and the cutie mark makes it conscious. It makes it clear to everyone. This is an interesting idea. But so if we accept that notion, then it's possible that Trouble Shoes subconsciously realized that he wanted to be a rodeo clown in Appaloosa's Most Wanted, but that he didn't consciously realize that that was what his cutie mark represented, because he didn't understand that cutie marks always represent who you are on the inside. He thought it represented bad luck. So he hadn't had the lesson that Luda gave to the cutie mark crusaders just a few episodes prior. He didn't realize that in the end, if you like yourself, you will like your cutie mark, because he misinterpreted this cutie mark because he didn't really get himself consciously, only subconsciously. And why the fuck am I discussing things like this in the context of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic? I'm discussing subconscious understanding versus conscious understanding. And I really feel as though Neo is going to come in at any moment, and the Confused Matthew is going to complain that he realized he wasn't ready to know things before he knew them, and then we will be talking about the contingent affirmation that's also capable of being otherwise. On your flank. Yeah. I live in a country where soft drugs are legal, and my faith is against that, but I really wonder whether I didn't take soft drugs subconsciously, whether I'm not actually high without knowing it. Maybe I won't allow myself to know that I've been continuously sinning. Maybe I won't allow myself to know that I'm actually leading a mafia gang and that according to Pope Francis I'm going to hell. Maybe I won't let myself realize that. Maybe I won't let myself realize that indulgences won't work if you still commit murder on a regular basis. Or maybe I'm just trying to entertain you, or to troll you, or to entertain myself, or both, because those things don't have to be contradictory, just as being insane and being sane don't have to be contradictory. You see, there is a My Little Pony comic, which involves Luna and Discord, which shows that darkness and light are not really contradictory towards one another, just as chaos and order aren't. And maybe the same is true for sanity and insanity. Maybe insanity and sanity can coexist. Maybe we should abolish all of the insane asylums. Maybe we should also abolish the difference between good and evil. Maybe everything is relative. Maybe Pope Benedict XVI was wrong. Maybe everything depends on your point of view. Maybe this lens flare is getting incredibly annoying behind me. Maybe I should have just made sure that I had closed that door and that I had closed the curtain so that you would actually be able to properly see me and you wouldn't get blinded from this video. Maybe J.J. Abrams should have actually stuck to continuity when he rebooted Star Trek. Maybe fans should be willing to acknowledge that it's for all intents and purposes just a reboot. And why couldn't they just have made it clear from the beginning and that they need to introduce an alternate timeline? Why are fans getting so upset about this? Why did the alternate timeline thing get repeated in Terminator? Are filmmakers really so lazy that they can't just work within established continuity? Then what is the point of making a sequel? And what is the point of a reboot anyways? Well, it seems to be the same purpose of a remake, to basically start from scratch. But if that is the reason, then you need to cut ties with the old fanbase. It seems to be trying to have it both ways. And personally, I think that's kind of cowardly. One of the few times it really worked was in X-Men Days of Future Past. And obviously that really worked with the time travel concept. It was not just a gimmick to get rid of continuity, which is why it was one of the better films. But personally, I also think that it honored the continuity of X-Men The Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Those films get hated way too much because I made 2-hour-long reviews defending them, which were incredibly boring and which nobody ever watches. But they were correct, because my opinion is always correct, because I'm actually a prophet in this time period. And saying that might probably be blasphemous, but what if the Montanists were correct? What if they truly held the one true faith? And what does any of this have to do with My Little Pony Friendship is Magic? Nothing. None of this makes sense. So if this doesn't make sense, you have to acquit. Also, do you see the monkey? Yeah. But so back to the difference between conscious and subconscious understanding. It really seems to me as though cutie marks truly do represent puberty, in that you partially realize what your goal in life is, and based on that you become happy with yourself, and partially because you learn to accept yourself, you learn to be able to more properly focus on your goal in life. There don't have to be contradictions here. A cutie mark doesn't just have to be one thing. Maybe not all ponies get their cutie marks in the same way. It's obviously as a part of self-realization, but many people, and many ponies, I guess, realize themselves in different ways. Some people do it on an emotional level, other people on a psychological level. Some people do it through doing things, other people do it through thinking, and other people do it through thinking about thinking and become postmodern philosophers who once again become the inspiration for things like the Matrix sequels, and pretty much for everything that I'm saying right now, which is just meaningless sophistry. But so I think it's therefore also very understandable that someone like Rainbow Dash got a cutie mark so early, because she was much more self-confident and she also truly understood herself. So the idea that cutie marks can differ per pony seems to make perfect sense, the same way that puberty can differ per person. So I don't think there has to be contradiction per episode. The fact that Shirley woke up with one while other ponies first have a realization, to me clearly indicates this. And what's also interesting is that we see that cutie marks can represent multiple talents, as they did with the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And now you can also get cutie marks as a group. So clearly a lot of things of a pony can be tied to their cutie marks, and they can in fact just very much differ per pony. Maybe certain ponies are a lot easier satisfied. Maybe certain ponies realize their destiny a lot faster because they don't reach as high. Maybe one of the upsides of waiting long with getting your cutie mark is that you get to have a better destiny. But what's also interesting is that cutie marks are in fact open to interpretation and can mean different things to different ponies. And maybe that also shows that even though at a certain point you have reached a certain level of growth and self-realization and you've taken a certain path in life, you can still have a lot of deviations on that path. It doesn't have to be too fixed. So it kind of defines who you are, but not too much. And what's also interesting to wonder is how this can be compared to what we saw in Harry Potter, with the sorting hat and into what house it sorted you. It took multiple things into account, both your own choice and also your own personal talents, your motivations, your personality, all of it went together. We saw that your upbringing could shape your choices could shape your further development. All of it was tied together, both talent, psychology, and emotion. So it's also interesting to think about how that can be the case with a pony. Maybe when a pony gets a cutie mark also partially depends on when they decide to be happy with who they have become. Maybe when a pony realizes who they are but they aren't happy with it yet, they keep growing further and further. And what's also interesting is that Diamond Tiara had a cutie mark she thought she wasn't happy with, but that was because she didn't truly understand it yet. So some ponies basically find their destiny before finding themselves, where other ponies find themselves before finding their destinies. And so it seems as though finding your destiny after you've truly found yourself is a lot easier, because then you have your cutie mark, you're immediately happy with it, and you fully realized it. But so it seems as though no pony will get a cutie mark that fixes them with a destiny that they aren't happy with, because in Equestria, all destinies in the end truly live up to a pony's expectations. No pony is truly forced to live a life on unhappiness. So in that sense, there's no true Calvinist double predestination in Equestria. Yes, I'm bringing religion into this again. You always have a destiny that you are happy with. But so the question is this destiny also conditional or unconditional? Is what destiny you have dependent upon what choices you make, or are your choices known from the beginning? This obviously also ties into the whole debate of where ponies get their names from. And this also ties into the debate of to what degree ponies can see into the future. Certain ponies like Celestia have premonitions, but are these premonitions fixed? For example, Jacob Tutu, yes, I'm actually referencing that, once had an episode which showed that you could predict the future, but you could still go against the prediction. So maybe in Equestria there is a certain degree of destiny, but at the same time there's also free will. So it's like in Forrest Gump. It's two things happening at the same time. So then it's like Augustinian predestination, and I keep getting back to that. So that's really interesting to ponder. And so how a pony get their names and how this ties into the cutie marks is also something interesting to ponder. And so what's also curious to ponder is whether they get their names because destiny has chosen that they must wander a certain path, or because destiny just knows what path they would want to walk. And can a pony also change their names? Or can they decide to turn against it? And at what point does a pony's destiny become fixed? Is it ever truly fixed? Or could a pony in fact lose a cutie mark? That's also an interesting thing to wonder, because that reminds me of the notion that within Catholic theology, once you're in heaven, you're saved and you will never stray away from the path. But you are always free in heaven. You still have free will in heaven. You're not there against your will. So maybe it's possible that all ponies who realize the cutie mark simply don't want to turn against it. We see obviously that Discord caused the ponies to turn against their identities, and it simply made them unhappy. So is it impossible that ponies would go against their cutie marks and be happy with it, or is it simply that ponies never truly want to go against their cutie marks? So is it that all ponies in the end are bound to be happy with their destinies? And again, why the freak am I discussing this in the context of My Little Pony? Why am I pondering on all of these issues? I mean, seriously, this would probably give Augustine an epileptic seizure or whatever. So yeah, I think I did a very good job of analyzing this episode, and I personally... Wait, episode? No, what was I analyzing again? I was analyzing... cutie marks. And destiny or something, or predestination or free will or whatever. Forrest Gump. So personally, I think that Forrest Gump got way too much criticism. People often claim that it's too sentimental, but I don't see how that's automatically a bad thing. And it also seems fitting for a movie about someone with mental retardation. Someone like that is often far more pure and kid-like. And I've also seen that children with autism can be like that. So it almost seems offensive to then complain that such a movie is sentimental when that's simply fitting of presenting such a life story. It almost seems as though people just didn't want to see the life of someone with retardation. And I have a real headache. Next time we'll be discussing pony names, and So, I'm still making more on Brick Brony, though. I'm just gonna encircle him now from all sides. So, still don't hate on episode 2. And, I hope to be a part of the Rift. Dr. Wolf, I still hope to be on your couch. I do think I will need to be there now. I really need some therapeutic help. And probably just also a lot of meds. A lot of drugs. But the good kind, not the bad kind. The good drugs exist. You can probably make a whole video on that. So, and I wish you all the best of luck. Not really. I don't really like anyone. I hope this world gets destroyed. But... So check out British Ninja's channel. He's really good. Also, everybody support the Autistic Brony. He's a great example for all of us. Justice Keyframe is a great example for people who've had an abusive past, which I also had. Autistic Brony is also a good example and a good idol for people with autism, and I really admire him. So check him out. Check out British Ninja, and bye. And I'm gonna leave now. And once again, sorry for wasting your time. No refunds.